Alrighty, hey yo, what is up, Knights? Aegis Rick here, back with some more DFO Rush, this time on the male Brawler. Now guys, in the last video we did male Striker, and you can see the resemblance is uncanny for both of these guys on the male Brawler this time, but you know, if you're paying very close attention to my character select screen, you'll notice that I don't pick these names and costumes willy-nilly all the time, guys, so just kind of throwing that out there. These are kind of mirrored versions of the female versions I have, which I consider, I enjoy the female versions of the classes. If we get a mercenary here, I consider the female versions of the classes a little bit more my style out of the two, especially with the male Brawler here after I got to try him out, but I did want to give him a legitimate shot either way. But guys, well, let me just show the gear as well. This guy's not nearly as geared. Actually, I don't even want to say that my male Striker is any geared at all, but we definitely have low tier gear here on this guy who has all magic sealed. The only thing he has is his Dread Phantom, which I am would say is a primary item that he needs, and then, you know, like another blade and stuff. So we are trying to get, I say that, and I really am not really trying that hard, but we are trying to get a devious trick set on this guy, which is kind of nice because my female Brawler, while she was trying to farm her intense bomb, was getting tons of devious trick. In fact, I could damn well, I'm gonna say I have like 5 pieces of that set on my female Brawler right now. And obviously, Devious Trick works differently depending on which two that you play, but, you know, it is a case of maybe I just start giving that guy a bunch of Devious Trick pieces due to the Chronicle Transcendent stones that they keep giving me. Possibly. I mean, this is the magic stone that I have right now is just due to the fact that I kind of gave it to him because of the Second Awakening event. That's why I kind of had to choose and just gave it to him. At least I got 1 piece of that set, but yeah, this class is all focused around range attacks, guys, and my build is a little messed up right now, and I'm probably just gonna keep it anyway because this guy was doing a bunch of TOD, and that's why I have this like kind of TOD build. I have Sand Splash, which is generally not a very strong skill, but I'm gonna pick it up anyway because it's well, it's not bad for TOD. So you know, stuff like this mine right here as well. You don't pick it up, but I'm almost done leveling, so I'm just gonna keep it anyway. But what this guy excels at more than the female Brawler, and the reason why I don't like him as much is personal preference, but he is a focus. He is not like a close range focus class. He works exceptionally well at the mid to long range. Weird bug right here sometimes where it goes to the select screen. You gotta leave, then go back into it because sometimes it doesn't proc. But he is a mid to long range casting, like throwing type of projectile type of guy. I mean, he focuses primarily on the status effects, which you might consider the female Brawler does the same thing. In fact, both of those classes, female and male Brawler, excel at that. That's their call to fame is the status effects. But I will admit that this guy handles the status effects much stronger. Whatever you do on the female Brawler, this guy can do much more potent. Like, you know, he's just much more potent at doing the same thing. Right? If you want to stack a lot of like bleeding or poison damage, this guy can do it way better, like hands down. So you know, because he has like multi hits, like that right there has like 3 hits. Yeah, there's hard to explain since I mean it really can get pretty in depth with the gear situation here, but you know, that poison right there is AOE poison, which I always get called out for not using that more often because it seriously, I mean, you can cast it there, you can cast it twice in a row, and that stacks like massive poison. In fact, if I don't do anything else, these guys would probably just die from poison. Like, I'm not kidding, that's how strong that is. And it's AOE, spammable, you know, it's kind of brutal. You know, the poison bottles are strong, but then also you can throw 3 blood needles too, and those are strong. Like I said, the Sand Splash is probably not something you normally use, but and depending on how many status effects you get on somebody, actually, which also applies to some of the skills on the female Brawler, but like some of his skills also get amplified depending on how many stacks of things that they have on the enemy. So I'm going to try to go into here. I'll let him go into his first phase, obviously, but when he comes back down, we can try to burst him down with a serious high damage skill in the Second Awakening, which basically makes it so that if you try to hit him with the Second Awakening and he's afflicted with status effects, he just takes bonus damage as well, which this guy's already tanky as it is, so it's kind of hard to show that off. And you know, so like I said, this guy is probably the quintessential, the strongest class when it comes to stacking all these physical, like abnormal status effects. So because of that, Oftentimes it's overlooked, but you got to remember that your gear, if you refine your weapon, you get an extra stat aside from just the independent damage, which helps fixed damage classes. You get another stat called the abnormal status damage, which is exactly what this is, right? Burning, poison, bleed, all of these are abnormal status. So what is most important on this guy, if you're going to be focusing on a build that's like that, and there are a couple of other builds that aren't just the status effects, even though he does handle it the best, it all depends on that abnormal status attack. So you need to try to get a very powerful weapon, because, you know, even though I got refined 7 on this, it's only about 62%. If I had a legendary or an epic weapon, that number, even on a +7, would just be flat out higher. So, I mean, we're talking percentage-based damage. The refine is probably, I want to say, one of the most important things on this class. Ever since they changed him after all-in-one, in fact, he got a lot more stuff in terms of gearing he has to worry about. I mean, this is a class that can excel with gear. You know, some classes that I have, like, you know, I don't want to say like like all fixed damage classes, but, you know, fixed damage classes generally have a much harder time in gearing. This guy is more like a hybrid, right? He needs everything. He needs to refine, he needs to you know, I guess amplify if you want. He needs to reinforce his weapon though, because a lot of his skills are just, you know, percentage-based skills as well. I mean, he's got to do this stuff too. So it's not something you just focus. Oh, I have refined 7, I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. So this guy's all over the place in terms of gear. And right now I'm having a hard time killing guys that are a single target. I'm having trouble trying to stack that. I didn't mention it already. You guys are gonna probably yell at me because I have a max level Venomine. I like Venomine. I don't care if it's female or male. I like Venomine. Anyway, this guy also has a suite of chain skills. I didn't mention that. He has 3 different chain skills, and all of them generally, if we're not fighting champion mobs here like that, we'll just one-shot the whole room. And I have all these chain skills I'm gonna be using are level 1. And they're strong enough to kill these guys. Like, look at the AoE, look at the status effects, and look at the damage. At level 1. I'm just doing it to level, and this is master difficulty. I also have this last one here, which is also really awesome. And then the First Awakening, kind of lackluster First Awakening, but he makes up for having a pretty damn awesome Second Awakening. Let's hit that going, let's hit this going, let's hit this going, let's hit that Second Awakening. And is it gonna kill? That burst is serious though. Oh, no. Not enough. I'm gonna get that stun though. We're gonna get that stun though, and that junk spin, baby. But anyway, guys, as you can see, compared to my female brawler, and I kind of wish I did it back to back, right, so you guys can see the difference. Compared to a female brawler, this guy is nothing like that, right? This guy is all about throwing shit. I mean, I generally, even though I say that, I like getting in people's faces anyway, throwing that right in their face. You can also augment the poison bottle. You can throw it right at your feet. You know, stuff like this move can actually be really good only when you group enemies together. I mean, like I said, you can play this guy from far away, but I kind of like getting in people's faces. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. There was a way different male brawler, and one day, maybe one day, we'll get the full devious trick. Maybe if I get enough transcendence stones, we'll pass it over to him, I guess, from my female brawler. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you knights later.